So is the AAP really walking the talk on corruption? Is this scandal the tip of the iceberg? Is Commission Raj across the country one of the biggest threats in a way to good governance? Raghav Chadha, Aam Aadmi Party's dynamic young MP joins me, and Aadil Singh Boparai of the Congress joins me. I know you're all the way in Davos at the moment, Raghav, but you have an eye on Punjab. How are we to interpret this? Your critics will say this is a political stunt. They're already saying that of the Aam Aadmi Party, saying it only proves our claim that AAP is no different from others when it comes to corruption. On the other hand, Mr. Kejriwal says he had tears in his eyes when he heard of what action Bhagwant Mann has taken. Where's the truth?
So, Mr. Sardesai, first of all, it takes a bold and a courageous leader with unimpeachable integrity, filled with uprightness to take such a decision. No opposition had any whiff of it. Nobody in the media had any clue about it. One could have easily suppressed the evidence and the information. But the Aam Aadmi Party's government, Bhagwant Mann Sahab's government, chose to sack its own minister, sitting minister, for seeking 1%. It's not about the percentage. It's not about 1% or 1 rupee. It is about the principle. And this demonstrates that as far as AAP is concerned, our administration is concerned, there is zero tolerance for corruption. In other parties, Mr. Sardesai, you see kickbacks. In our party, those seeking kickbacks are kicked out. In other parties, you see minister getting cuts. In our party, if a minister seeks cuts, that minister is cut off. In other parties, you see the prosecution sanctions being withheld by the government. In our section, we got our own police to arrest the minister and investigate the matter. So therefore, it is completely clear that Aam Aadmi Party, which has done this twice, first was Mr. Kejriwal's 2015, incident where he had sacked his own food and civil supplies minister because some evidence had come to fore, irrefutable evidence had come before us of him indulging in an act of corruption. This shows that we are here for providing a clean government, and I can say this. I come from the Aam Aadmi Party, and you may consider this as a political comment, but as an Indian, let me tell you today that I am proud that we have a political party in the form of Aam Aadmi Party and a leader in the form of Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann Sahab, who have zero tolerance towards corruption, who can say that our government is a corruption-free government. Now, opposition, of course, will attack us by saying that, oh, you've been in government for a little over 60 days and, there is a corruption scandal, etc. Look, let me answer this with a straight bat right at the outset. We cannot guarantee that more than 1 crore members of the Aam Aadmi Party are people with unimpeachable integrity, or all 117 candidates in Punjab to whom we gave tickets are people who are completely above board. There could be minor lapses here or there, but what we can guarantee, Mr. Sardesai, is that if any person is seen to be indulging in an act of corruption, if there is any evidence that comes before us, we will not shy away, we will not think twice, we will not suppress the evidence, we will remove that person.
You're taking the moral high ground at the moment. Adil Singh Boparai, the AAP can take the moral high ground. They've actually sacked someone without even the charges being made public. If the charges had been made public and then they had sacked him, you could have argued that they were under public pressure or political pressure. They've actually sacked Mr. Singla even without any charges being officially, formally made by any institution or by the opposition. To that extent, they can claim they've set a unique precedent.
Well, Mr. Sardesai, the Aam Aadmi Party cannot make a virtue out of necessity. The Aam Aadmi Party is like the modern-day East India Company, which has come from Delhi to loot and plunder Punjab. And let me give you a fact, and this can be verified. Don't take my word on this. Ask your own team to verify this. An overwhelming number of the MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party are history cheaters. They are facing charges ranging from cheating to land grabbing. This is the Aam Aadmi Party, notwithstanding their glib talk and holier-than-thou spiel. Now, the more important question is, if there is one thing which is consistent with Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, that is his penchant for drama and charade, right from his days of the Anna Hazare movement. This is nothing but a diversion, a deflection. The real money is being made by the Delhi imports. And I have no qualms in saying this. The real money which is being made by the Aam Aadmi Party is in the liquor and the sand mafia. and the Aam Aadmi Party and their Supremo have sent a motley crew of
No, but
Delhi
why would
imports, which is stationed
No,
in
but why
Chandigarh to
would-
plunder Punjab.
No, but why
Point
would
number
they
two.
sack a
Point
minister who
number
hasn't
two.
even had charges against him? They've sacked a minister
This is the
even
beauty-
without
this
any
is the
formal
beauty
charges.
of that drama. This is the beauty of that drama. You catch somebody with peanuts, but the real money which is being made by Delhi imports and liquor and sand trade is pushed under the carpet. But be that as it may, there is something more loud and eloquent about this drama, which is that the complete lack of administrative efficiency, gross mismanagement, and more importantly, lack of talent when it comes to the Aam Aadmi Party. This is a party which just does not have it in him to govern Punjab. What Punjab needs today is serious governance, Mr. Sardesai. We have a host of problems facing us. We do not need a Vigyapan Sarkar. And this is the perfect example of Mr. Kejriwal's textbook. He's been doing this in Delhi since 2015.
You're making-
He's been able to fool the people in Delhi for a long time. But let me assure you, Punjabis are much smarter. They can see through all this charade, and sooner than later, they will give a resounding.
You have evidence that they are involved with the liquor and sand mafia, Mr. Boparai?
Well, give it some time. Give it a few days and weeks. The skeletons will tumble.
Let Raghav Chadha,
And the
since you-
Delhi imports. Let me say one thing. Let me say one more thing.
Yes.
The Delhi imports have their hands in the cookie jar.
Delhi imports, are you referring to my friend Raghav Chadha? You're also my friend Aadil Singh Boparai. Are you referring to my other friend here, Raghav Chadha? Raghav Chadha, you want to respond? Delhi imports are involved. They have their hands in the till in Punjab. This is a drama to take away attention from core issues like taking on the sand mafia or taking on the various other mafias that operate in Punjab over the last decade and more.
Mr. Sardesai, I don't even wish to dignify the slanderous comments made by the spokesperson of the Congress. I was given to understand that he's a lawyer, but clearly he's forgotten law and he's making absolutely baseless, defamatory, slanderous comments against my party leadership without any iota of evidence. I will not even dignify that with a response. I'll move on with the conversation. But let me tell you, no, of course, we'll decide our legal strategy separately. But as far as the state of Punjab is concerned, as he said, Punjabis are smart. They are smarter, and they saw through the Congress. You have two types of governance models that the state of Punjab has seen in less than 6 months. One, where a new administration sacks its own minister because irrefutable evidence of him indulging in an act of corruption come to the fore. On the other hand, you had the Congress regime, where Congress's own chief minister, Charanjit Singh Channi's nephew, was caught, was raided, and more than 10 crore rupees of cash was found at his residence. Several crores of properties and luxury cars, etc., were found in his residence, etc. So you have two models before you. You have the Congress model, where chief minister and his relatives are caught red-handed with piles and piles of cash, and the other model where a minister was seeking merely 1% in the contract amount and he has been sacked, unceremoniously removed. It is for the people of India to decide which model do they
1%
want.
can also be a lot of money. No, let's not constantly focus. 1% also is a lot of money. The fact is that the Commission Raj, as I said, Raghav, has existed in states like Punjab for the longest time. Are you saying that today what you've done with Vijay Sangha, you will do with others also in the future? If any evidence is provided in the future, AAP will act. Is that the assurance you're giving me?
AAP has acted, AAP will act, AAP is acting. And you out of all the people know that when it comes to corruption, Aam Aadmi Party has zero tolerance. And it's a bit rich coming from the Congress that has looted the state of Punjab. Every single legislator of the Congress party has been alleged to be indulging in acts of corruption, neck deep in the liquor business, in the sand mafia business, in the transport posting racket. In fact, I had raided an illegal mining site. I had myself raided an illegal mining site in the chief minister's own constituency. I'm given to understand even you went, you went to the chief minister's constituency and found that how illegal sand mining was going on in Charanjit Singh Channi's own assembly constituency. It's shocking. And it's a bit rich that the Congress today is passing these sweet summons.
Adil Singh Boparai,
acts of corruption.
Fair enough. Let me give the point. You know,
it's mind-boggling.
You're in power for the last 60 days, so who knows what happens a year, 2 years down the line. But Adil Singh Boparai, the fact is that both the Akalis and Congress on corruption in Punjab cannot take the moral high ground, because your governments was charged with far more serious charges of corruption and nothing was done. At least here, whatever it is, whatever the motive, whether drama, a minister has been acted against. You give me examples where even without the evidence being brought out in the public domain, a minister has been acted against by the Congress or the Akalis or indeed any government in this country. Today in the BJP ruled state of Karnataka, contractors are making allegations of 40% commission, but no one is touched.
May I respond?
Yes,
Mr.
very quickly.
Sardesai, I again reiterate my preliminary point. The Aam Aadmi Party cannot make a virtue out of necessity. How does Mr. Chadha know that nobody else got the whiff of this scam or nobody else got the whiff of this tender scam? But be that as it may, now let's look at facts. Is this not a matter of fact that an overwhelming number of the Aam Aadmi Party legislators are facing serious allegations of cheating and other infractions under the Indian Penal Code? Number 2. Number 3, health is such a critical portfolio. There is no antecedent check under the Aam Aadmi Party. There is a dearth of quality leadership in the Aam Aadmi Party. And the problem is that the Aam Aadmi Party, right from the word go, right from the point they started, is adept at drama. This is nothing but drama and a well-orchestrated strategy to appear holier than thou.
Okay.
And I again reiterate,
Mr. Sardesai,
let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Whether the AAP is playing holier than thou will be tested in the months and years ahead. It's just 60 days in power in Punjab, but clearly the optics of sacking a minister. Yeah, very quickly, Raghav, all the way from Devos, 30 seconds.
One sentence. Aam Aadmi Party has been in existence for less than a decade. Congress has been in existence for more than a century. Can you, in a more than a century tenure of the Congress Party, point out one incident where the Congress has sacked their own, whether it's a MLA or a minister, on grounds of corruption?
Okay.
One example.
Okay.
In more than a century's existence of the Congress Party. The answer is you can't, because they don't act on corruption.
Okay, you've made your point. Raghav, Chadha, we'll wait and see whether the AAP acts on all instances of corruption in Punjab or whether this is a one-off. And Adil Singh Boparai, you can perhaps go back and read up the history of Congress and tell me when did the Congress act against a minister who was not charged in the public domain but yet was sacked. For that,
well, the unfortunate reality with the Aam Aadmi Party is that they suffer from selective amnesia. I'm not here to educate Mr. Chadha, but perhaps he should just brush up his general knowledge.
One incident.
Okay, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Raghav, Chadha, Adil Singh Boparai, good to have two young voices, sharp, joining me on the show tonight. Thanks very much for joining me on my talking point.